Yo, Leute, was geht oder geht nichts? Und damit willkommen zu einem neuen kleinen Let's Play. Und zwar spielen wir heute What Remains of Edith Finch. Ich habe keine Ahnung, ob einem der Name was sagen sollte oder ob das aus einem anderen Spielgenre kommt, aber ich sehe gerade auch schon wieder, dass der Audio-Mix wieder absolut krampfhaft ist, aber jetzt habe ich eigentlich den gerade für Bioshock so schön eingestellt, weshalb ich mir jetzt erstmal das kurz irgendwo aufschreiben sollte, wie ich den eingestellt habe, damit ich das hinterher wieder einstellen kann, weil hierbei muss ich mich wieder mal sehr viel lauter machen. Aha. Wunderhübsch. Ist das so beabsichtigt? Ich kann mich umgucken. Und wir sind anscheinend auf einem Schiff, auf einer Fähre, vermutlich mal. Und da ist chinesisches Essen. Und ich kann mich nicht bewegen. Ich habe eine verletzte Hand und ich bin ganz offensichtlich eine Frau. Und ich bin verdammt klein. Junge, ich bin fucking Kleinkind. Ich gehe da gerade hier bis zur Scheißkante von dem der Kackbank hier. Ja, aha, ich kann damit interagieren.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Okay, auf jeden Fall mal sehr schön, dass einem nichts gesagt wird, wie man hier was
I
machen
lived
hat.
here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Ja, und ich spiele dieses Spiel.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Ja, und ich spiele dieses Spiel aus einem ganz einfachen Grund. Und zwar share ich mir ja
I hadn't been
bekanntlich...
back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Okay, ich darf hier, glaube ich, nichts mehr sagen, weil dieses Spiel sehr viel redet. So.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Ja, ich spiele dieses Spiel auf Zuheißen von dem kleinen lieben Chris, von dem ich mir in letzter Zeit ein paar Spiele geshared habe. Und das war eben die Bedingung dafür, dass ich dieses Spiel aufnehmen muss für ihn. Da es nur 3 Stunden dauert, habe ich mir so gedacht, ach
The
komm,
truth
scheiß
is,
drauf.
even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Mhm. Also ich gehe jetzt einfach mal aus dem Kontext schon mal davon aus, dass unsere Mutter Edith Finch heißt. Weil die uns ja hierher praktisch zurückgesetzt, geschickt hat. Ich kann es nicht lesen. Scheiße was. Aber einfach im Kontext vermute ich mal,
The
dass
house
wir
was
jetzt...
exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
So, ich vermute jetzt einfach mal, dass unsere Mutter diese Edith... Jo, das ist viel... Jetzt ist das Spiel wieder viel zu laut. Vorher musste ich, was weiß ich, wie hochdrehen, damit man überhaupt was hört. Und jetzt ist es wieder voll leise. Ja, wie gesagt, ich vermute mal, dass unsere Mutter Edith Finch ist. Kann ich mich hier noch irgendwo anders umgucken?
As
So,
a
Chris.
child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Aha. So, Chris, und an dieser Stelle will ich einfach mal anmerken, wenn er sagt, das Spiel dauert 3 Stunden etwa.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Schnauze halten. Ja. Also wenn man sich in dem Spiel umgucken kann, dann kann man nicht sagen, wie lange es dauert. Oh Gott, nochmal. Also das Spiel gefällt mir auf jeden Fall bis jetzt schon mal. Ich erwarte eine großartige Story.
I felt like I was home.
Ja. Gut, ich meine, also für
But
das
instead
hier...
of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Ja, also ich sehe schon, ich werde hier relativ wenig reden können, weil das Spiel sehr viel Story erzählt. Und deshalb
The
erwarte
table was
ich...
still a wreck from the night we left.
Deshalb erwarte ich auch eine schöne Story, wenn sie schon so viel redet. Ah, irgendjemand im Rollstuhl, der anscheinend Beatmung braucht.
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Aha. Das heißt, da war irgendeine alte Person in dem Rollstuhl.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Hä? Haus versunken? Okay. Alles klar.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Aha, also dann ist wohl Barbara Finch unsere Mutter. Gut, dann hat sich meine Theorie von vorher schon mal erübrigt. Jetzt sind wir dann Edith. Wobei ich dann den Titel nicht ganz verstehe.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Okay, das heißt, wir sind hier anscheinend irgendwie geflüchtet. So wie sich das für mich anhört. Frau Chris,
After
Ihre
Milton
Theorien.
disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Okay, das Spiel verwirrt mich zunehmend. Hä? Warum? Hä, da verschwindet jemand und das erste, was die Mutter macht, ist alle Türen zu den Schlafzimmern zu versiegeln. Hä, hat die in ihre Kinder eingesperrt oder was? Okay. Das Spiel wird jetzt schon verdammt strange werden. Ein Dings. Oder war da ein Dings? Da war ein Dings.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Oder ist vielleicht Barbara unsere Schwester?
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
Okay, da geht's noch einen Dachboden, aber hier drüben geht's auch noch einen Raum, habe ich gesehen. So.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Oh, es ist zu einem Buch.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Aha, also mit in Mollys Zimmer. Das ist schön. Und hier liegt irgendein Plan. Barbara, Molly, Eddie und Steven. Okay.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Boah, bin ich dick. Oder? Sieht fast von so runtergucken, sieht fast aus, als wäre ich schwanger. Ja gut.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Ja. Gut, ich sehe jetzt noch nichts mehr. Ich kann nicht zurück, geil.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. Before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I kept eating and eating. I ate a lot of things that night. Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Gut, ich weiß jetzt nicht genau, was sich die kleine Molly da eingeschmissen hat, aber ich bin mir sicher, dass die Substanzen nicht ganz legal sind. Und they see me rolling. Yo!
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Ich hab Hunger. Müsste gerade ein bisschen. Ist gerade ein bisschen. Irgendwie für mich so ein bisschen mein Fuck.
Juicy seeds. I tore off her flipper and it tasted really good.
Nee, aber irgendwie, das ist gerade irgendwie richtig Brainfuck hier. Du kriegst nichts erklärt, so von dem. Und ich wette, es wird eh so sein, dass schlussendlich dir die Story von dem, was passiert ist, und dann...
Tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
What? Bin ich jetzt ein Kraken?
Now I was a monster and I smelled people everywhere.
Aha, also kein Kraken. Ich muss schon sagen, das Spiel ist wirklich gut
I was
gemacht.
big, but I mean real quiet.
Yep. Ich rieche Menschenfleisch.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Schnapspraline, die kann ich auch noch essen. Also ich würde jetzt ja sagen, das Mädchen, das sollte man einweisen.
Passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Hui. Auf da. Also wir sind auf jeden Fall ein richtig heftiges Monster. Hä? Wir kommen in unserem eigenen Klo raus. Oh, what? Das ist doch das Bad von vorher, denke ich jetzt mal.
I got closer and closer.
Es leuchtet unterm Bett.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Ich verstehe gar nichts mehr. Ich verstehe absolut gar nichts mehr gerade.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Aha. Also effektiv gespeichert, gesprochen, stelle ich hier gerade einfach nur Recherchen über meine Familie an, oder
This
was?
will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Eine Vogelliebhaberin. Und hier haben wir auch die Person, die...
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Oh, das ist schon mal ein
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Wow. Ja, genau. Das ist so richtig Klischee-Tusse.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Okay.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Aha, das heißt, also wir besuchen hier gerade lauter Zimmer von Leuten, die ewig lang schon tot sind. Also gibt es anscheinend irgendwie jeder Raum in diesem Haus gehörte ja jemandem. Und jeder Raum wurde so belassen, wie er war, als derjenige gestorben ist. Okay. Also rauskommen tue ich hier wahrscheinlich definitiv nicht, weil Türe versiegelt.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Boah. Ich will auch so ein Haus haben. Ein Fotostudio.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Da hat Milton irgendwas hinterlassen.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
Aha. Und jetzt sind wir...
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
or maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Ja, okay, wer will nicht beim Schaukeln den Überschlag
After
schaffen?
the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Wow. Das ist so toll. Das ist so genial.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Da ist ein Affe, da will ich nicht hin. Ach gut, komm, dann gehen wir halt noch in Barbaras Zimmer.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear! Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And young he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door she sensed the story might not be over yet.
So, ist er noch da? Ist er noch da? Ja, ich melde mich auch mal wieder. Natürlich ist er nicht mehr da.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Also, ich hatte am Anfang wirklich so meine Zweifel, ob mir ein Spiel, das dem Herr Chris gefällt, auch mir gefallen würde. Aber Herr Chris, ich muss zugeben...
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Jo. Nee, aber Herr Chris, ich muss zugeben, das Spiel gefällt mir bis jetzt so gut wie Life is Strange. Und es lädt. Da, 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 da. Also ich vermute jetzt einfach mal, dass es nicht so passiert ist. Einfach weiterdrehen und weiterdrehen. Aha. Also der Vater gefällt mir, wenn er so Zeug baut. Wird gespeichert. Das ist so ein richtiger amerikanischer Teller.
Mom
Keller.
said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Aha, und hier die Dinger.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
What? Boah, es ist...
I remember
Boah.
asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Ui, ein...
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Der Dosenöffner des Walter.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive the week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped.
Es hat nicht geschüttelt. Warum hat es nicht geschüttelt? Und
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting.
Gott, wie heißt diese Krankheit nochmal, die man
Or
kriegt,
maybe I
wenn man
just
Vitamin,
got tired of being afraid.
die man kriegt, wenn man Vitaminmangel hat, weil da die Arme sieht so aus, als hätte er das, aber ich weiß nicht mehr, wie das heißt.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Mhm. Also er hat sich hier anscheinend vor irgendwas versteckt, oder wie?
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Okay,
I'm sure
Ja.
my mom was trying to protect me.
dann war dieses Rütteln wohl einfach nur der 12 Uhr Zug. Ui. Klassiker. Das leere Fenster im Bunker. damit du nicht verrückt wirst, weil du nie irgendwie was siehst oder so. Ich hoffe jetzt einfach mal... dass jetzt hier nicht auch der 12 Uhr zukommt, wenn ich gehen will. Wenn ich denn gehen kann. Was knarrt denn da? Also, ach, das Radio.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Aha, der Typ hat ja sein Leben lang
But if she never
irgendwelche...
told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Oh, shit, ich glaube, ich habe recht, dass die schwanger ist hier, unsere
Now
Protagonistin.
that there's only one of us left, or maybe two,
Sie ist schwanger, ja.
I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Ja, also eindeutig
I
die...
don't know if I should even be writing this.
Aber ich bin mir jetzt 100% sicher, dass sie schwanger ist.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
Und sie schreibt es für ihr Kind.
And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Also ganz ehrlich, sorry, wenn ich so wenig sage, aber dieses Game, das flasht mich gerade einfach so hart.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Ja, so ehrlich, dieses Spiel flasht mich gerade so hart. Ich weiß gerade auch irgendwo gar nicht, was ich sagen soll. Und ich will auch gerade irgendwie gar nichts sagen, weil ich genau weiß, dass gerade gleich in der nächsten Sekunde der nächste Satz von der Geschichte kommt. Und da haben wir hier die Schaukel. Aber ich glaube, jetzt muss ich doch mal gleich hier kurz die Stimmung kaputt machen.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Weil das ist gerade hier doch recht dunkel. Kann ich hier vielleicht ein bisschen... Ah, gut, ich kann hier mal ein bisschen die Musik runter machen. Die Dialoge bleiben oben und die Soundeffekte bleiben auch oben, mal die Musik ein bisschen heller. Es ist wirklich verdammt dunkel. Das Klischee ist ja immer, dass YouTube jedes
It's
Video
embarrassing
nochmal
for me to
dunkler
admit
macht.
this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Der Star, der Höhlenmensch, der Designer, der Macher, der fliegen wollende und die irgendwelche crazy Drogenträume hat.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Ha! Recht gehabt, ist schwanger. Gott, bin ich gut im Raten. Aber ich meine, ja, jetzt sieht man es gerade nicht. Moment, hat die nicht gesagt, sie ist 17? Ja, 17 und 22 Wochen schwanger, okay. Und da heißt unsere Jugend ist am Arsch. Ja,
I never
haben
met
sie.
Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Mhm. Purple Heart, was haben wir noch? Also Veteran, Jäger und Fotograf. Das nenne ich mal ein heftiges Leben.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Kane. Okay. Also Purple Heart ist ja, glaube ich, im Kampf verwundet. Aber ich schätze demnach, dass er so viele Bilder hängen, war Kriegsfotograf. Ach ja, Fotografie ist schon mal schön. Das mache ich selber auch gern. Wird vielleicht auch mal in nächster Zeit vielleicht auch mal was in die Richtung auf meinem Kanal kommen. Aber jetzt davon gar nicht mehr so viel. Ich will jetzt dieses Spiel weiter spielen.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though. Aw.
Ah, mein Gott. Gerade mega niesen müssen. Ich hab keine Ahnung. Wo soll ich noch fotografieren? Schweine. Pfütze. Weiß es nicht.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper. Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Let's see. Maybe.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Let me get behind you. Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay? Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about—
Dad! Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Ach ja, Sam. Sam diente Uncle Sam.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Gregory. Dawn und Gus. Und anscheinend ist Dawn die einzige, die es hier aus dem Kinderbett rausgeschafft hat.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination.
Ich liebe dieses Spiel jetzt gerade echt. Ich finde, es ist echt genial. Ich weiß gerade irgendwie gar nicht, was ich sagen soll. Ich habe gerade echt so mal Freude dran.
Whatever it was he saw. Sure made him happy. I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby
Ach, bin ich
being
gut.
too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish you could have told us about the world he saw.
Bring
There's
ich
so
jetzt-
much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck,
Hab ich-
Kay. Love, Sam.
Habe ich jetzt gerade echt ein Kind umgebracht? Mehr oder weniger. So, ja. Ich habe gerade ein Kind umgebracht, ja. Ich habe ein Kind umgebracht. Nice. Hab ein Kind umgebracht. Gregory. Ein Armeehelm. Ein Rucksack.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. Make this bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Ich habe hier echt den heftigsten Drachen auf dem Planeten. Jetzt wissen wir auch, wo die Stühle herkamen, die wir vorher gesehen haben.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Also, ja. Was haben wir denn da? Raise the flag, breakfast, quiet time. Greg be a baby. Ach komm, da kann man doch 100 Pro hochklettern.
My
Ja!
mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Also für das, dass wir 17 und schwanger sind, sind wir doch noch recht sportlich. Boah! Heftiger Gaming-Rechner hier.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Fly to India, Packen muss ich auch noch. Für mich geht's auch noch in Urlaub.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
Aha. Missing. Überall diese Missing-Plakate, aber ich kann nicht erkennen, was... Milton Finch. Ja, Milton. Oh, jetzt
When
kommt
my
der...
dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
Jetzt kommen wir hier...
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Jetzt kommen wir jetzt zum interessanten Teil vom Haus. Das ist wie so ein bisschen so wie das Weasley-Haus aus Harry Potter.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Hat wohl jemand gerne gemalt.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush. I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Aha,
Whatever
also.
Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Das heißt, jedes Mal, nachdem hier anscheinend, also die Familie ist irgendwie vom Unglück verfolgt und jedes Mal, nachdem jemand gestorben ist, haben die das Zimmer versiegelt und deshalb ist dieses Haus so exorbitant gewachsen.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself.
Louis.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Boah. Also bei so einem Zimmer wäre ich auch nicht rausgegangen. Sind wir mal ehrlich, ist ja mal voll geil. Voll der Shit. Oh, Shisha rauchen.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Kiffen. Der aber, Alter, bei so einem Zimmer wäre ich auch nicht rausgegangen. Ich gehe auch so nicht raus, also von dem her. Kommt das gleiche raus.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery.
Spannender Job.
But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Multitasking.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery, I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
Bauchfisch?
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Wurde der
For someone who'd
ultimative
never known success in the
Internet.
real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Nö. Muss wieder irgendwas machen. Ja, ich glaube, ich sollte jetzt irgendwie was machen, aber ich blick nicht ganz was irgendwie. Ja, vielleicht.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who had insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Alles klar.
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Aha, das heißt, er hat hier gezockt und sich darin verloren. Und die Psychologin dachte, er sei komplett geistig behindert. Aufmachen. Ja. Dann haben wir
On the
alles
way
durch.
back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wondered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Wow. Wow. Ja. Okay, Chris hatte recht an dieser Stelle. Das Spiel dauert tatsächlich bloß 2 Stunden, aber wow. Wow. Also, wow. Das Ende von allem. Wow. Also, ich weiß gar nicht so richtig, was ich sagen soll. Also, gute Geschichte, toll erzählt, die Charakter einfach irgendwo stimmig und einfach... Diese Idee ist an sich so abgefuckt, obwohl es eigentlich... Ich meine, die recherchiert im Prinzip einfach nur über ihre Vorfahren und weil es irgendwie nie gesagt worden durfte, weil es so scheiße gelaufen ist, im kurz gesagt. Und wow, also wirklich geiles Spiel. Ich lasse es ja, ich verabschiede mich an der Stelle. Ich denke mal nicht, dass hier noch irgendwas kommen wird. Und ja, von meiner Seite aus war es das an der Stelle. Ich gucke mir jetzt hier noch in aller Ruhe die Credits an. Und kriege Achievements. Ja. Und dann würde ich sagen, bis zum nächsten Video. Ciao.